Hi everybody, I didn't intend to make a video again so soon, but I don't know, there's a lot of stuff I wanted to cover, and somebody once said, or a couple times I think they said, well, we'd rather see you on camera, we don't want you just doing this thing where you don't show yourself on camera when you're talking. I'm like, really? Okay. If you insist, here I am, all in my purple glory. This means I have to put makeup on, y'all. I can't come and just show you this bare face because, I gotta abstain from all appearance of evil. So, anyway. Okay, well, this is a serious subject today. And, I know a lot of videos, I try to be positive and uplifting, and then you have serious things you have to talk about. And, even though trolls would love to say, you're just fear-mongering, nah, 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 and go, nah, 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 just like little gnats buzzing around. Two realities can be true and valid at one time. You can be positive and feel blessed in your life and motivating, and then you can also realize there are bad things going on in the world and not hide from them. So, I want to start out by saying every family devastated by Helene is getting a whopping $750 from Biden. Because Biden has stolen billions of our money from FEMA for illegals and Ukraine. And now Mayorkas is saying that FEMA doesn't have enough funds to help in this catastrophe or the next one that's coming along. They just passed some kind of bill that made it easier for them to acquire FEMA funds for disaster relief, and now they just don't have any money. They do. Yes, they do. They're misappropriating FEMA money and Ukraine money. We don't want Ukraine being paid for when people out here have bodies piling up in their front yard, and that is not a dramatization. So, the same thing happened in Lahaina, in Hawaii. Here you go, $700. Never mind that half of your family was burned up in a car trying to escape. We don't care about you. And they truly don't care about you. That's the thing. If you think they do, you're seriously living in an alternate reality. Now, they're preventing locals from bringing in food and supplies. And from searching with their own private helicopters. They're even confronting people and confiscating supplies to squirrel away, like one guy tried to do in the Tennessee Armory, for just equitable distribution. Disarming citizens, that did happen. Police chief in Florida, he was stopped by DeSantis. He's right at the beginning of Helene, he decided to forbid firearm sales and acquisition and carrying off your property. I'm sorry, often you're attacked off of your property. And now in this kind of thing, you don't even know where your property lines are anymore. So they're just trying to disarm people and leave them defenseless, just like they did in Lahaina, I guess. I can't remember if they did that there, but they definitely did in Katrina. And then they said, well, we just confiscated guns that we found, firearms we found, and if you want yours back, you have to bring a bill of sale. Nobody has a bill of sale for the firearm that they bought 25, 30 years ago, or that they inherited from a relative. So a lot of people never got their firearms back. They were disarmed and left defenseless. So, now these figures may be a little off because that wasn't today. They may be slightly off. But $525 billion to Ukraine, $750 billion for illegals, $700 for Lahaina families, and $750 for Hurricane Helene families. Now, those figures may be off a little bit, but there's enough, the disparity in them is what you should be paying attention to. Of course, money's flying out of our coffers daily to bleed this country dry. I'll tell you my humble opinion of why the FEMA response is nil, and I mean nothing, in a lot of North Carolina and Tennessee, and even further up too. but especially North Carolina. The mountains are especially hard hit. The mountains are a different kind of thing entirely than, say, the flatlands of Florida. But number one, they want the land. They want the land. And then their plan for complete control of our thoughts is on the way right after that. They want our land. And it's a planned takeover of private property, in my opinion, complete with some depopulation thrown in for good measure to achieve that agenda. You know, these soulless shells don't have any compunction about murdering women, men, and children to achieve their globalist agenda. They give a pretend nod to the Constitution occasionally, but even then it's a ruse. You know what they say, actions speak louder than words. The plan is to remove once and for all that document that's the very fabric and framework of our country. And the second reason I think the response is nil from the government is because they know it's going to be difficult for people to vote in much of the South, where they are now completely homeless, many dead, stranded, and devastated. They know it's going to be very hard to get out to vote in North Carolina. And Harris is really scared about North Carolina. So, of course, they're not going to help anybody get out of their hot pile of mud and debris. They don't care. They hope they die. I'm telling you that because actions speak louder than words, and the actions back that up. So, the South has been disrespected and denigrated ever since the lies they started to propagate about the so-called Civil War. As I said, the Civil War. It was not a civil war. It was the war between states. It was the what some people call it, the War of Northern Aggression. Slavery didn't even enter into the equation for 2 years into the war. It was something that Lincoln kind of just thought of, apparently, that might help him win. And the feds want the country gone. They want the South gone as a whole. Because we're in the way of their plans. The South has always been the seat of traditional values, family values, America First country, and they hate us. I live less than a mile from the North Carolina line in the North Georgia mountains. Rescues and aid are much more difficult here than in the flatlands of Florida. But the citizens who live here among these mountains, they know these mountains, they know the area, they know when something has, topography has been changed by this, and they know what this is supposed to look like over here, and this is not supposed to look like, and this is a dangerous place to go because this ground cannot be stable where it is, that kind of thing. They know the area, they know what should be there, and they know what's gone now, and where they should be careful. They have ATVs, and they have four-wheel drive vehicles. So they have more ability to help than the feds sitting on their royal assets, sitting on their hands. And that's by design. So, I'm sorry, both my sons have situations that they're dealing with at the moment, and I'm a little distracted. So, anyway, so many people haven't even seen FEMA in the worst areas, especially North Carolina mountains and the Appalachian Mountains. It's called Appalachian, not Appalachia. That's not only unconscionable, but it's evil. I'm with General Flynn. I was listening to General Michael Flynn this morning say what Biden could do, but he's just not. And he's saying there's nothing tying your hands for sending in troops. You could commandeer 5,000 of active duty military. He said there's nothing stopping you from doing this in this kind of disaster. But he says the souls of these power-hungry government entities are dark. He said their souls are black. And I've said the exact words myself. They're reprobates. They're eternally lost, most of these people. Allowing people to suffer for the promotion of their sick agenda. Allowing people to suffer when you can fix that. We need President Trump and J.D. Vance to take the reins. And for the Democrats to never darken the doors of the White House ever again in my lifetime. For the sake of the country and future generations. So please watch the interview with General Michael Flynn on the Benny Johnson Show. It just came out. It's excellent. You will learn so much that you didn't know. And General Flynn trained in these mountains. He knows these mountains, so he knows what can be done and what should be done. And he laid out what he would do if he was left in charge. And it's not being done. So all this is why we homestead. To stay out of the government's grip and as off the radar as possible in this day and age. Not to be beholden to the government for their help. One day, they plan to make what we here have earned and created and own illegal to own. And they're already vilifying those like us for having more than our fair share. I do a lot of quotation marks lately. Our fair share. Though we're not remotely wealthy. Not remotely. Likely today, not even considered middle class anymore. You know, I have no illusions about what they would do for us here if we were devastated by natural disaster. And that is exactly nothing. Remember, it's not only the wealthy that they hate, which is odd because a lot of them are insanely wealthy, mostly from nefarious activities like Nancy Pelosi. But she hates the people who are, as she says, the billionaires. So she hates the billionaires and she hates us, which means she only likes her little level of society. We sacrificed here for this life that we have. We did that. We cultivated and we maintained a perfect credit score. We bought a mountain property, paid off our mortgage a dozen years early. And we developed this homestead with blood, sweat, and tears. Through physical difficulties, many physical difficulties. And if you've been on my channel long, you know what those are. We've become increasingly self-sufficient for many reasons. The only true remedy against government control. And the globalists know it. They abhor independent, freedom-loving people. We are also believers in the one who made heaven and earth and will not waver in the defense of his, and we won't waver in defense of his name. And neither will he. Something else that they despise is our faith. They don't understand it. Darkness can't understand light. So we are blessed beyond measure when we think of the journey to this place where we are now, my husband and I are, where our family is, what we've accomplished here for our family's future, the disasters that have somehow skirted around us in this really sort of protected place. We're on a mountain, but we're surrounded by higher mountains. And they protect us from a lot of this, the worst of these storms. So my retired veteran husband, as you know, has been ignored and forgotten by the country he gave a quarter century of service to. He earned, with his own health, his retirement he has, as was his goal from the time he was 23 years old, to take care of his family like a real man does. Sadly, the world is full of soy-eating beta males, like the trolls that plague this channel and other similar channels. Every time I talk about hard realities and what we think is coming, I'm accused of fear-mongering. That's just another attempted censorship from the peanut gallery, so they don't have to hear hard truth and reality. And if you do that here, you are gone. I have never fear-mongered. I've stated realities, I've stated what you should prepare for, and what is likely to happen. That's not fear-mongering. What's fear-mongering is what my friend saw on a group on Facebook. When people were collecting baby formula and diapers to take to affected areas, badly affected areas, these young little, I don't know what to call these women, they were young mothers. They were going, well, don't you take all our baby formula and don't you take our diapers, our babies will starve. Dramatic much? And I wanted to say, sister, have you never heard of ordering online? It's amazing. You can order online from places like Sam's Club and Walmart and eBay and come on. These people have nothing and you're taking them, our stuff. Oh, the drama, seriously. No drama. Drama, and you want to interject drama here, you're gone. Someone got the boot this morning. Okay. We have got to prevent that Harris wench from her ability to ever become head of our country. A woman who was so ashamed of her family that she made them up, culturally appropriating blackness. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you see Candace Owens' multiple videos on her hunting down her ancestry. It's a little eye-opening, to say the least. She and Waltz are sorely lacking in intelligence and morals. The fact that they're mostly low IQ, low information supporters don't see that and still plan to vote for them is proof that they're blinded. So this country, especially government, is increasingly anti-traditionalist, anti-conservative, anti-Christian. These self-entitled sickos who believe that murder is the great solution to their problems, whether it's their own children or political opponents. And you know what I mean by their own children. Yeah, murder is the solution to inconvenience every time, sure. Maybe birth control would be a better idea. It's too clear to me, especially in the last few years, that they want what they consider useless eaters gone, as they call us. They want us dead. Useless eaters, the people with humble lives like me and most of my subscribers, we're certainly useful to them, as they used us and taxed us and stepped on us to get to where they feel they deserve to be for some nebulous reason. Their masks are off. Excuse the COVID pun. My mask was never on. Those with discernment clearly see the evil black souls underneath. They can clearly see that. There's a lot you can tell by the eyes of some of these people. You think I'm crazy? That's true. It's true. So nowhere is safe, even within your own personal borders, that any normal person could vote to continue this rampant inflation, unaffordable housing, unaffordable utilities, sky-high food and fuel costs. Is staggeringly insane, but they're going to do it. Because they're not normal, they're not intelligent, nor are they moral. So, vote early and in person. Don't become complacent. My early voting is October 15th, and I'm headed to town to do that on October 15th. I think that's next Wednesday or something. I'm just going to say, I've often said that even when President Trump gets reelected, he only has 4 more years you can only run 2 terms. Even if and I thought, well, what happens when he's gone? What is the next step? And I watched all of the VP debate. Boy, was that eye-opening. But he looked positive. J.D. Vance looked positively, I can't even say it today. You know me, I don't know, lately I'm tongue-tied all the time. He looked positively presidential in that debate. That is a leader. That is what I want. I wish President Trump could take a few hints from the way Vance doesn't react to insults thrown at him. He just counteracts it with facts, and he does it calmly and with firmness, and I was impressed, honestly. And that may bode well for our future if millions of others see that as we did. Even the lefties are saying he was amazing. So I pray that President Trump is reelected in spite of their efforts to execute him, that his policies that put our country back on the right track in the first place remain and are embodied in the ones that come after him. And I pray that no Democrat ever graces the White House doors ever again in my lifetime, or that of my children. So, God bless and stay safe. And you can have horrible things happening, and yet you can still feel blessed and positive and motivated to take care of yourself. 2 things can be true at the same time. They can be valid at the same time. So when I say, this is happening, watch out for this, That is not fear-mongering. And then I turn around and I will say, prepare as best you can. You need to prepare. Now, your efforts might be washed downriver. If something happens like Helene, many people were prepared for everything except what happened. And there's no way to prepare for that kind of thing at the scope that was. Thousands are dead. I keep seeing headlines that say hundreds are dead. Thousands are dead. And there are thousands missing. And they ran out of body bags after 1,000 body bags, and the bodies are still stacking up. This is not going to be over for a while, and October surprise is here, right before the election, even though I don't know how they could have created the hurricane, so I don't quite believe in a lot of that stuff. But they sure know how to take advantage of it and move their agenda forward. But you have to be the one to counteract the agenda. No matter what new laws and rules they make, you stand on your constitutional rights, and you be very careful, and you be wise about your actions, but don't let them disarm you, and don't let them steal your supplies, because already that started happening. Them collecting supplies, stopping supplies. The Tennessee sheriff wanted to put all the supplies from one place they were gathering in a small airport into his armory, so it could be distributed properly. The locals can do it better than you, buddy. I know he's a local sheriff, but he's also not on their side. So, take care. That's the end of that. We'll catch you later.